Welcome back to Joy Recovery Radio. And before we begin, we want to name something clearly. This episode may challenge ideas you've been taught about recovery or reconciliation, and that's intentional. Much of what's considered normal in betrayal recovery actually causes more harm, especially to betrayed partners. This is not a podcast about preserving relationships at all costs. It's about ending deception, restoring reality, and supporting autonomous, informed choice. Let's begin.
Welcome back to Joy Recovery Radio. This episode is part 2 of a recorded 2-part conversation on DARVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. In part 1, we defined DARVO, named how it shows up in betrayal conversations, and explored why it's so destabilizing for betrayed partners. In this episode, we go deeper. We look at the specific trauma injuries DARVO creates, how it functions as integrity abuse, and what real-time accountability looks like when someone refuses to flip the roles or dodge responsibility. This conversation includes a simulated example that may feel intense for some listeners, so we encourage you to take care of yourself as you listen. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, you may want to start there, but this episode will still make sense on its own. Let's continue.
The other thing is to remember is DARVO creates 3 very specific trauma injuries. So the first one is the reality injury, epistemic injury, and that's where we, the betrayed partners, begin to lose confidence in our own perception, where we start to not trust our own intuition anymore. This is because of gaslighting and not because of miscommunication. The second injury is the attachment injury. Help seeking is punished. Safety cues are replaced with threats. The partner becomes both the source of harm and regulation. And the third is moral injury. The victim is framed as cruel, controlling, or abusive, and the offender makes moral reckoning. This deeply erodes self-concept. Based on the Manwala model, DARVO supports integrity abuse by normalizing the deception, reframing harm as conflict, forcing false mutuality by statements like, "we both make mistakes," and pressuring premature forgiveness.
Oh, it does fit right into the Manwala model, and it especially shows up after discovery. And this is when we're trying to keep reality under our control, even though the secret basement has been exposed or partially exposed. We're still trying to deceive and manipulate and distort the reality of our partners, especially when they're onto something. And we want to dodge that accountability, but we also want to destabilize their own perception of what's happening. We're undermining their confidence in their own intuition, their own perception of reality. And we're teaching them that if you're going to tell the truth to me, you will be punished for it. And that will make it less likely for her to share a concern in the future. So what's critical to the Manwala model is that the core injury that the betrayed partner has suffered wasn't just from our sexual behavior. It wasn't just from the infidelity. It was integrity abuse. It was intentionally manipulating her reality. And DARVO is one of those primary tools where that is still going on. Let's go ahead and do the simulation, and then I want to end by addressing the men.
Okay. So for this simulation, here's some context. There's been a history of betrayal. The couple had an agreement about being transparent about sobriety from sexual content. And in this scenario that we're going to do, let's say the betrayed partner accidentally discovers explicit material on the betrayer's phone. So
Okay.
I'll be the betrayed partner.
Okay.
You be the betrayer.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, Roy, I was using your phone to look something up and I saw some suggestive material. We agreed you would not be doing this. So I would like you to explain.
Oh, that stuff? That's old. I forgot that was even on my device. I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this. This was before discovery.
Roy, the timestamps are from last week.
So now you're going through my phone. Is that what I'm hearing? This is a massive invasion of my privacy. I don't go through your phone. You're always looking for something that you can be upset about.
Wait, hold on a second. I was searching and I came across it. Like, I wasn't intentionally going through your phone. It was right there.
That is not the point. You're not understanding what's going on here. This is why I feel so controlled by you. I don't feel safe in this
my gosh.
relationship. I don't feel like I have any autonomy or privacy. I can't have anything that's mine that you're not policing me about.
You know, I'm just trying to have a talk about an agreement that we had about suggestive content. And it seems like every time I bring something like this up, this is exactly how the conversation goes.
You're acting like I cheated on you all over again or something. This is ridiculous. When will this end? This is really sick. Other couples that we know in recovery, they don't do this. They don't freak out over minor things like this. You're being more extreme than any betrayed partner I know.
Stop pathologizing me and stop comparing me. This is a boundary violation. You have broken trust. And honestly, yeah, it does feel like I've been cheated on again.
I'm the one that can't trust you, actually. You don't respect my boundaries. You jump to conclusions. You always assume the worst about me. You never let anything go. You ride a dead horse for months. I am exhausted by you.
Okay. So this is what you do. And now you're saying I caused this. This is my fault, right? I find stuff on your phone and now I'm the reason. I'm to blame here.
What I'm saying is, if you weren't so insecure, this wouldn't even be an issue. You're turning something so trivial into a national crisis. I'm out of here.
Wow.
That felt horrible
It
to
did.
simulate that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry.
I was actually, I know we're not on video, but I was like rubbing my temples.
That was painful.
It was.
That was painful.
If you're listening, just if you need to take a timeout, go take a timeout. That was pretty intense. And if this is something that you experience, I am so sorry. There's no winning on this. And after simulating something like this, I will tell you, I just feel completely dysregulated and unheard. I don't feel validated. I feel unseen. I feel like I did something wrong and I did not. That is the reality. There can't be relational recovery when conversations go like this. It is absolutely traumatizing for a betrayed partner.
So what would integrity look like in that same scenario? We don't have to simulate it all over again, but this is what integrity would look like. So you bring your concern to me about something you found on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of me denying it, instead of me minimizing it, instead of me attacking you for pointing it out, Integrity would be something like, you are right to bring this up to me. And I need to own that last week, something did pop up on my device. I shut it down, but I didn't tell you about it. And hiding that from you because of my shame or fear to tell you is damaging. And I don't want to make excuses for it. I imagine this is extremely painful for you.
One sentence, just one reply with ownership and accountability.
Did not dodge accountability. And that really is foundational to DARVO, is denying, minimizing, dodging accountability, and then the flip.
Yeah. Look what just a simple reply of accountability and ownership can do to avoid a situation where both people became completely dysregulated and the betrayer was trying to cut her down in order to regain power.
Yeah. And if we really dismantle this whole conversation and break it down, one integrity violation became two.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was an integrity violation for me to look at something on my phone, and it violated a relational agreement that we had, that I wouldn't be looking at something like that. So that by itself, that is an integrity violation. But man, is the damage just multiplied by the DARVO in relation to the first integrity violation. And that's what we mean by this is integrity abuse.
Absolutely.
This is a second, unnecessary, and some partners would say even more damaging, integrity violation where psychological abuse is going on. And we don't take responsibility or accountability.
We want to pause briefly to name something important. DARVO doesn't stop because it's been identified. It stops when accountability is learned and practiced in safe, structured containers. If you're a betrayed partner, you're not required to educate, convince, or manage your partner's recovery. And if you're someone recognizing these patterns in yourself, awareness is only the starting point. We share more about our coaching work and how we approach integrity-based recovery at joy-recovery.com. We can help you understand what real change actually requires. Let's continue.
So let's just do like the very beginning of the previous script so I can give an example of how the betrayed partner can stop it.
Okay.
So this is a different simulation where the betrayed partner can stay in her reality, maintain emotional regulation, and stop the conversation from going into attack, reverse victim. So, Roy, I was looking through your phone to get information, and I saw some suggestive material that I want to talk about because it absolutely breaks the agreement that we had.
Why are you snooping on my device? This is why I feel controlled and suffocated by you. You're always making problems like this.
So right there, for the betrayed partner, this is where you chime in and you just call it. I'm not debating privacy or my character. I'm addressing one behavior, the suggestive material on your phone after our agreement.
You're making a mountain out of a molehill. You are blowing this way out of proportion. Everyone sees stuff like this.
Okay.
It's everywhere.
So Roy, again, whether others do it isn't relevant. We had a clear agreement on this. So for the betrayed partners, you can see I'm staying emotionally regulated. He's trying to...
Inviting you to the DARVO dance.
Yep.
And you're not taking the bait.
I'm not going to.
So if it continued, I may try another tactic. You're acting like I cheated on you all over again. I can't live like this under this kind of scrutiny from you.
Okay. So I recognize and I hear that you're uncomfortable. Discomfort doesn't erase the agreement or the impact. So again, I want to revisit, if you can, the agreement that we had with you looking at suggestive material.
This is a great example of why I don't feel safe in this relationship. You're just too controlling. I can't even breathe.
I'm not accepting a shift for you to attack me because this is what you're doing. I'm asking for accountability for the behavior. You can supply that or not, but we will revisit this.
I get it. I get it. I'm the bad guy. I'm the monster. I'm the loser that you're stuck with. I get it.
Right. So again, this is about whether you broke the agreement.
I already said I'm sorry. Why are we still talking about this?
Because apologies matter when there's a change in behavior. And what I need to hear is whether you're willing to take responsibility and repair. That's it.
I don't know what else you want from me. I don't know what else I can do to make you happy.
Okay, so if accountability isn't possible for you right now, let's just end the conversation and we can revisit this with support from our coaches, our community. Maybe you should take this to your brothers and talk about this. But this conversation is going nowhere. I've made several attempts. And so I'm just going to call for a timeout and walk away because I am not going to allow my emotions to become dysregulated.
So this was a great example of where, by the way, the simulation's over. This is a great example of where I think on 4 different occasions, I tried to invite you to the DARVO dance and you refused that bid. You held your ground. You stayed calm, regulated, but very centered on there's really just one issue here.
Right.
Your behavior on your device that violated our relational agreement. And I'm not going to let you distract towards anything else. You were laser focused on that one thing. And I tried a lot of DARVO tactics with you.
You did.
You wouldn't take the bait.
Because I went into the conversation knowing there's one objective. Either he's going to take ownership and accountability, or I'm not entertaining this conversation. I'm not entertaining anything other than ownership and accountability. That's it. And if he can't provide that now, then he needs to go and do some self-work and then come back around and revisit this conversation. But me finding suggestive material on the phone isn't going away.
Right.
This is a clear boundary violation, and there needs to be some sort of safety plan or something in place to where this isn't happening.
And in that sense, you had a quote unquote advantage coming into the conversation because you knew the conversation was about to happen. I didn't. And so you can come to the conversation knowing this is my purpose. This is the point. I will not deviate from it. And I know what DARVO is, and I don't do that dance. And so you stayed focused, centered, grounded, under control.
I just knew me taking my stance and my regulation, I needed to maintain a healthy mindset and go in it realizing DARVO may be possible, but if he starts the dance, I'm not participating. I'm going to shut it down. Every time I'm going to shut it down. And I'm going to remind him that this isn't going away, that the end goal is he's not going to shut me down, so I can't revisit this conversation. I stated clearly that if this is not something that we can discuss now, we will come back to this when he's feeling more regulated and when he's in a state to take ownership and accountability. And walk away. Keep your head up, walk away. You went into the conversation very strong. You did not take the bait. And you left the conversation very strong.
So, men, just a couple of words of encouragement. First of all, this probably stung. This probably was difficult to listen to. But there's also some hope here. DARVO is a learned behavior. It's often unconscious. You don't even realize you're doing it. But here's the hopeful part. If it's learned behavior, it can be unlearned. And if it's unconscious, it can become conscious. You can become more aware of it. So here are some signs that you might be slipping into the DARVO dance. And the more aware you become, the better. First, if you are feeling attacked, if you're feeling cornered, you're feeling ashamed, and you start going on the defensive, you're in dangerous territory here, and you might slip into DARVO. Second, if you're looking for some way to escape this conversation, because this is very unpleasant, and my whole addiction was escaping anything unpleasant, anything painful, and now I'm looking for an escape route, then you may start DARVOing. Number 3, if you notice that you're shifting the conversation away from your behavior and you're now expressing that this is unfair and you're making it about her behavior, now you're really slipping into DARVO. Or if you begin to invalidate your partner's perspective and her feelings, and you accuse them of attacking you wrongly, then you're now in DARVO completely. Or if you feel the need to win the argument, which there is no winner in these conversations, if you're feeling the need to win instead of understand what she's expressing, then you're on dangerous ground of going into DARVO. What I have found is awareness with DARVO, for us men, it goes through 4 stages. First stage, we recognize DARVO after the fact, after the conversation. Second stage, we notice it mid-conversation. We catch it, and we're able to correct it. Third stage of awareness is we notice the impulse or the urge, usually because we're starting to feel defensive, and we recognize it then, and we correct before the DARVO dance. And then fourth is where we choose integrity. That's the greatest level of awareness.
Your peace needs to be protected. So do whatever you need to do to protect your peace. When we become dysregulated, we're giving our power away.
DARVO keeps couples stuck, but calling it out, naming it, can bring clarity. And clarity can help foster real recovery on both sides. If this episode brought something up for you, we encourage you to bring it into a safe container, safe support, either with your coach or your therapist or your recovery community.
And remember, joy is possible
when you live in integrity.
That wraps up another episode of Joy Recovery Radio. As we close, we want to leave you with this. Healing after betrayal isn't about moving on quickly or getting back to how things were. It's about living in reality. If this episode was helpful, you can subscribe, share it with someone who needs language for what they're living through, or explore our resources at joy-recovery.com. We'll be back next time with another conversation grounded in truth and real recovery. Until then, remember, joy is possible when you live in integrity.